Hello everyone, it's Liam, the Death Doom Metalhead, and this is a collection update of a variety of Doom, Death, some black metal in there as well, and some kind of crossovers of death metal into other subgenres. And yeah, it's a mix of vinyl, tapes and CDs, so plenty to dig in and check out, and hopefully something new you'll find. And yeah, that's the whole point of these videos, just to discover new tunes and promote bands. So yeah, we'll crack on. So a lot of this is actually UK based for this one. I've picked out quite a few that I've had maybe a month or two, maybe some even longer than that. And yeah, all fucking solid stuff. So we'll start off up in Scotland. Everyone knows this band, probably one of the most popular underground bands at the moment. They can't literally do no wrong. Al, who kind of runs the management of the band, could probably put anything out merch wise and it would sell out. Bare underwear, condoms, it could be anything, you know. And yeah, Coffin Mulch have just put out a re-release of their original demo. This came out absolutely ages ago, only on cassette originally, and I had heard of it and I tried to find it and I've never been able to find a copy. I think there's only the kind of inner circle of the Scottish death metal scene that actually own that tape. It's very, very rare to even, I've never actually seen a physical version of it. But I do know it exists. So being as popular as they are, and I know a ton of people have requested it, he re-released it on vinyl this time with new artwork here, as you can see. Very, very colourful, very slimy, very in the mould of Coffin Mulch, with some really snappy artwork on the back there as well. Put out through At War with False Noise, which Al, the frontman, runs, has been doing it for years. So really cool underground obscure label. If you've never heard of that one, I'll put a link below so you can check it out for yourself. But yeah, this sold out pretty much instantly. I think it was like 500 copies on 2 different formats maybe, and it just went instantly. I mean, this is the 2019 demo. It came out. I mean, this is before they kind of took off with their EP, which really, really did well, and has been mentioned by dozens of people. But this demo, I got the special edition with like loads of little goodies in there, like a patch. I think I've got dozens of this kind of bloke now lying around in this room alone. But I went with the old school black vinyl. There was a colour variant that everyone went for, but I just thought black looks really cool, fits the demo. You know, I don't want anything too fancy. And yeah, it's fucking awesome. Comes with a really snappy inlay as well. It kind of gives you a breakdown of what the band was at the time, because obviously their sound has evolved in the short time they've kind of been going. Nice. I love this little shape thing here. It's just so simple and effective for a demo. You don't need too much. You don't need, you know, all the lyrics and stuff like that. You know, I just want to kind of know what it's about, who did it, you know, and it's perfect. But yeah, this is just a kind of a very much of a raw sound, very much death metal. There's no kind of crossover into other styles like you would say now. They kind of have a punk, kind of hardcore, kind of grindcore vibe in some of their stuff. Especially live, they're a totally different band live to what I reckon on an album. If you listen to the new album and then you watch them live, it has such a different vibe, very, very different. And I kind of prefer it live as well. It fits the style more when you see it in the flesh. But this demo is quality. I actually really, really enjoyed this. I know Al would hate it, but I actually prefer his vocals on this, just because I like old school death metal and it's ingrained in my brain. So I was always going to like that more. The more of the crossover kind of style he has nowadays, it's more shouty, more of a kind of punk vibe. Whereas this is just straight up, kind of like what I've got on now, Anatomia in the background. It's got kind of that vibe to it a little bit. Very raw, very underground, very slimy and very horrible. And yeah, a fucking solid demo. So if you haven't checked this out, I don't think you can actually buy it anymore, because I think it's just gone now. So I'm fairly confident this will get repressed again in the future if there is a big enough demand for it. So yeah, Coffin Mulch, awesomeness. But not only that, At War of False Noise put out this split this year as well between 2 bands. I only knew one of the bands, and it was a split normally I would just kind of gloss over. I'm not really au fait with the next band I'll talk about, but it was actually quite a nice surprise actually. This is a split here between 2 bands, Burial Rot from Nottingham, which was a death metal band in the UK, and then there's a kind of, I don't know what they're really classed as, so they're called Eyeteeth. And they are completely out of my comfort zone, and I know nothing about them, so I've had to make notes. They're kind of a what they class as a straight edge crossover hardcore punk grindcore band, and I had to kind of research what straight edge is because I had no idea what it is, like power violence and stuff like that. No idea. Literally those kind of genres, not a clue. You know, I will openly admit I know nothing about them. And when I was researching straight edge, it's basically guys who are kind of inspired by the hardcore punk scene, but they don't drink, they don't do drugs, they don't smoke, they don't have naughty sex, I think it was what I read. The vegans, you know, completely straight edge. And I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. I didn't expect it to mean that, considering the music style, but you know, whatever. If that, you know, if that's what it is, that's what it is. I mean, I could never be straight edge. I do like my beer, and I do still try to persuade my wife sometimes to have sex with me. So I'm very much in that part. But yeah, both bands on this are really, really cool. And Burial Rot, I had the demo which came out a few years ago for a Welsh label on tape, and it was only 2 or 3 tracks. And this one again, I think there's 4 tracks here on for Burial Rot. It's just solid, pummeling, quality death metal. Definitely a step up from that demo I had on that tape up there. And yeah, I was really surprised by that. But then the Eyeteeth side of it as well really surprised me, because it does have a death metal tinge to it. It wasn't something I put on and felt really uncomfortable with and I couldn't listen to it, which I was expecting it to be. It was harsh, it was aggressive, and it had blasts in there, and it, you know, it actually did the job for me. I really actually enjoyed it, and I was quite surprised. Again, it's a style of music you wouldn't have a clue or even an inkling of what it could be like if I was into it. But yeah, I actually enjoyed both bands. Both of this side are actually really good. So if you haven't checked it out, I'm pretty sure there's copies of this left after the Coffin Mulch release. This is just black wax as well. Just go over, go buy it, and you'll be amazed actually how cheap it is as well for a split. So do yourself a favour and go check it out. Very weird cover as well. Kind of lends to the mysteriousness for me that I had no idea what I was getting out of this. I just kind of bought it out of blind loyalty to underground music. So yeah, that's a really good split. Now, sticking up north end of the world, Scotland's own Macho Records here. This chap is just pummeling out bands left, right and centre, really making a name for himself in the underground scene. And these two are quality bands. I mean, both of them are actually superb, actually. There's nothing to complain about at all. First one is this band here, Blasphemer, or Blasphemer, I don't know how you want to pronounce it, with the Marked for Death EP. It's got 2 tracks, hello, and then 2 live tracks, which were live in Leeds. So this band have been around a fair old while. They formed in 1990 out of Yorkshire, and were quite a prominent death metal band, but then they stopped and then formed. A few of the members became, I think it was Dominion, which was signed to Peaceful, which were classed as a kind of gothic doomy death band, but I could never get into them. It wasn't really my thing. I don't know why. I think it was, I can't remember what it was, but they just didn't gel with me as much as I was assuming it would do being on Peaceful when I checked them out years ago. But this shit though, it's fucking phenomenal. Blasphemer, really heavy, comes on this like neon green shell, and I believe this has Dan Mullins on drums of My Dying Bride and a bazillion other projects he's in. Jacob like that, and yeah, it's just straight edge, really heavy, really fucking professional, good, solid death metal from guys who've been in the business for years, so they know exactly what they're doing. So you don't get this kind of raw, young approach to it. It's very much a very experienced, very to the point, technically proficient death metal. So yeah, really, really enjoyed that. So no doubt the Fallout, if they do a full length, is going to be shit up. So yeah, you need to get a t-shirt of that. That's really good. And then this one, I mean, I knew I was going to like this already because I kind of knew about it and snippets of it online, but being a die-hard Bolt Thrower fan, you kind of sometimes get a bit fed up with some bands just cloning Bolt Thrower. I mean, there's loads, and they are great. I absolutely love Bolt Thrower, so I kind of tend to kind of lean into the Bolt Thrower camp when I'm kind of trying to write riffs sometimes, and I have to pull myself back out knowing it sounds just like Bolt Thrower. But these boys out of Suffering Rites wear their loyalty to Bolt Thrower on their sleeve, as well as other death metal bands, but it's very much heavily inspired of the Bolt Thrower formula. But what makes it great is they do it fucking brilliantly, and it's not half-assed. It's not like a poor imitation. It's not, well, it's not even an imitation really. It is just a nod to Bolt Thrower, and that kind of dual harmony, riffy with solid drums underneath it, and you got that kind of growled bark kind of vocal style on top of it that just makes it all perfect. And Suffering Rites, these are a Scottish band as well, based out of Glasgow, I think. And this is their debut EP for 2024. I mean, it's got wicked artwork. I don't know if my camera will pick it up because I'm doing this in the daytime for a change. A nice daytime video. Tape this, your white shell there with your like stuff on there. And in the J card there was a t-shirt, which is awesome. I have the t-shirt which has got this fella on it here. Would love a t-shirt with that on it, but there you go. This has the vocalist from Brainbath, old Ken, he's in here. You've got or Kenny should I say. You've got the drummer and a guitarist from Ulcerate, which are a really good death metal band out of Scotland that I played a festival with at the start of this year. And that drummer's, he's an Englishman as well, which I find really funny, and he's shit up, but he now lives in Scotland, so that must wind him up rotten. But he's fucking mentally good, and he just adds to this as well, because a lot of like kind of bolt thrower inspired drummers in the bands anyway, the drums kind of lack sometimes. You always kind of get just the riffs and it's just all bolt thrower, but this chap here can do the kiddie kind of double kick perfectly, and the Andy Whale kind of double bass as well. He's got all those kind of in his locker easily, and he's probably way better than both those drummers by miles anyway, so it really aids the music. And it really pisses me off this is only 4 tracks, because I really enjoy this. I've reversed this tape and played it loads of times, just because I just love it. Musically it's just exactly what I like in death metal. So if you've never checked that out, there's a link below and you can tell me how fucking good it is. So yeah. Right, now this one was completely out of the blue and was sent to me, I think by a PR company, requesting me to kind of review it, and I get them now and again, not regularly, I'm not anything famous or anything like that, but I always say if you want me to kind of show it on here, it has to be the physical release, because I have a lot of collector friends on here, and you could get a bazillion better YouTube channels that do it with a kind of screenshot and all that kind of thing. I like kind of show you what the product is. If you like it, you know, go check it out. And this is one of them, and this was a UK based band, but he's from Peru, living in London. Guido is his name, and this is his debut full length for 2024, and this is his project Alpha Lyræ. I might be pronouncing this wrong. So this is doom metal essentially. There is some kind of elements of death in there, there's elements of prog, drone, there's all sorts of going on in this kind of doomy, melancholic journey. It is much of a journey, because the album is themed off his first daughter being born a few years ago, and the kind of experience she would be facing when she's growing up. You know, I think it was kind of centered around the kind of COVID outbreak as well, and his child being born around that time period as well. So it's an interesting like kind of view of it, and the music's all inspired by stuff like that, and it's very colourful. And again, this is a release in the shop I would never even look at. I would glance over that cover instantly, so I won't pretend like I'm all cool and I understand all that kind of things. I don't. I'm very simple. If I see zombies and death and skulls, I'm all over it. If it's stuff like this, I kind of gloss over it. So I love it when people tell me, can you check this out, and I actually listen to it and I'm surprised by what I actually think I'm going to know and hear to what it actually is. And this is really good actually. This is very musically interesting, and it takes you on a journey, and it's not just kind of basic power chords with loads of just slow drum beats and stuff like that. There's so much more going on, and like I said, the guitar work is what makes it better. It's more interesting in the kind of keys and scales he's using and choice notes and his melodies and stuff like that. Makes it, I've actually really enjoyed this a lot. Did I write anything else about it to tell you? Not really, no. So yeah, his daughter was born in 2020. I'm using notes if you haven't twigged. So yeah, I will leave a link to this. This was cheap actually at one point on Bandcamp for £5, so I don't think it's much more than that now. So go support Guido and his work. It's a really good album. Different to anything else I'll show you on this list here now. Very much in doom category, but it has a lot more going on. So yeah, go give it a whirl and see what you think. So yeah, Alpha Lyræ, I think it's pronounced. Now this is just your straight no nonsense brutal death metal with your slam, your blasts, your gut rules, everything nasty in death metal. And that is the new album from Maimed. This is their debut full length, I think. I think so, yes. Debut full length for 2024. That Alpha Lyræ album was also this year as well. And this is a kind of like a super group put out through Death Stare Records, old what's his face from Wales, what's his name? I want to say Tom, it is Tom. Tom from Death Stare Records, who's in Crypt Rot, but he's also in this project Maimed, which is a kind of crossover between the US and Wales, should we say, because that's where Tom's based. It features Kyle from he does Sewer Rot Records. I think he's a part of a team of people that does Sewer Rot Records, Carl Mizik. And then you've also got the bass player and drummer from Severed Head Shop, if you know that band. But musically, I think all the songs are composed by Tom, and then all the other chaps kind of lend in to kind of make it what it is. And there was an EP they put out a few years ago that's really good, and I was aware of this band for a while. Shell looks like that, printed shell. There is a CD version as well. And it's just fucking brutal. Very good, very heavy, produced very well. It's the only thing I can't do is read the fucking lyrics now. I'm only 35 and even I'm struggling with that. It's mental. So finally realising I am getting old now. Lads are on there. There's Tom there, Def's there, Kyle from Sir Rot, and then these two, bass player and drummer from Severed Head Shop. Is it Severed Head Shop? Severed Head Shop, yeah. And yeah, so if you like your brutal death metal, your heaviness, you know, blasts, gutturals, slammy stuff, there's loads of guest appearances from other musicians as well on this. So I will leave a link and you can go and try and find a copy of it. I don't know if it's actually sold out now, I don't know. I'm fairly sure the CD still exists, but this, I would imagine, is a lot harder to find. So try your luck, check it out, and then yeah, let me know what you think. So yeah, Maimed awesomeness. Now some black metal. This is some very raw black metal from Italy. This is quality as well. Really enjoyed this. And I've actually spun this quite a lot actually. This has been really easy to get into. This is called Paharl, with that title there, which will be down here so you can read it, what it actually means. So this is put out through Black Mass Prayers, which is an Italian-based black metal label, but also resides in London as well. So you've got the two places you can get it from, I believe. But this is a one-man project. This is the second full-length from 2023. And this is very catchy, kind of lo-fi, raw black metal, but not like ultra raw, so you can't really hear what's going on, or the guitars sound like a sock's been covered over it and stuff like that. It's got a kind of that raw kind of production, but it's also very accessible, very catchy. A lot of the songs are very, very easy to get into, very memorable. It starts off quite raw and aggressive, and then it kind of grows as the album goes on. And I quite like the artwork as well, if you can kind of make out that chap there sitting on the hill on his throne. And yeah, it's just no nonsense, very much to the point of that kind of atmospheric, kind of aggressive, harsh black metal style. It's the programmed drums, but you probably wouldn't really notice them if you really listen. You probably would. So it's quite nice that you can't really pick out straight away that they are programmed drums. And yeah, it's just good, solid, raw black metal. So I would say go check that one out as well. Or check all these out. Well, I wouldn't even show them otherwise. But yeah, I actually quite enjoyed that a lot. That's been getting a lot of spins. Which I didn't expect, because that's the style of black metal I kind of gloss over sometimes, so I was actually really surprised by that. So thank you very much to the man who knows who he is for sending me that. Now this one, I have everything by them, and I didn't realise that until I looked, and I missed this completely on the pre-orders because I thought, I'll get it later on, and I didn't, and it said it's sold out. And then luckily Andy at Drycoff said no, there's a few copies kicking around, so I bought that instantly. And that is the latest from the band Slimelord, a UK death doom band who have recently blossomed and become this major player in the scene, now on 20 Buck Spin, a US label. And as you can see, artwork by what's his art name? Do you know what? I can't find it. I was going to tell you that and I didn't write it down. That's going to piss me right off now. You'll know who it is anyway. I'll put it here so you know, because it's going to bug the hell out of me now. But anyway, so this is their debut full length. They've done a number of EPs and demos, and I've even got a live tape over there. But this is their actual first ever full length for 2024, and it kind of carries on from what they've already been doing really for a number of years now, since I think 2019 they formed. Yeah, it's kind of this very much doomy death metal, but they use a lot of weird ambient, lots of dive bombs, reverb and delay, pinch harmonics and stuff like that to kind of give you this kind of swampy, slimy atmosphere, which obviously fits with the name of the band and the kind of concept of the album and the music. You know, it's very, very different. And when I watched them live as well a few years ago now, they are very different from the traditional doom death band. They are very much a death metal band that's mega slow, and it's like everything is kind of like was fast, and they kind of just dialed it right down and made it really swampy and horrible and slimy, and kind of made sure that if you were to speed it up, it would sound like a proficient, you know, technical death metal band, but they're not. They're playing it really morbidly horrible and slimy, and it's chunky, and it's, or the solos are bizarre and like off the cuff, and like, you know, not your traditional shreddy style. They're very much centered around that kind of swampy, boggy kind of vibe. Does this make any sense to you? And yeah, I'm actually surprised, because this is not a massive step up really, because they're kind of consistent with their sound. They haven't really changed anything really. They're kind of maybe a bit more of a band maybe, and it kind of gels well. There is a write up here in the inlay about the whole concept of the album, the Earth's core, and it says giant toad or something like that living under there. So that was interesting to read. And then you've got your lyrics on the other side there, and thank yous. So that was quite cool. And then the vinyl variant for this one was a Dry Cough exclusive here in the UK. Obviously 20 Bucks Spin being a US label. Because they've been on Dry Cough since they started out, they got a exclusive Dry Cough kind of magenta, orangey kind of style splatter, well not splatter, blobby kind of vinyl. The Earth's Core, we'll call it. And even on the inlay of the card there, it's got this like wicked little pattern inside it as well, which is quite cool. So yeah, really impressed with that. I'm not going to even try to do that on camera because I'll be there all day. So yeah, go check out Slimelord. You probably already know who they are. They're massive at the moment. So yeah, links below if you want to check them out. So last two, and I'll leave you alone. This is all from a Swedish label, Grind to Death Records, who I think will put out a Trenchant last year, which was a kind of war-themed thrashy death metal band. That actually was a really good album. Again, didn't have a clue who they were, and these two bands again are none the wiser. But you know, I love it when I get to review stuff I've never heard before. So the first one is this album here, and I can't pronounce it, but it is down there. So this is a Swedish black metal band formed in 2020, and this is the second full length from 2022. Because it's daylight, you can't see nothing because everything's reflecting. But the album artwork is pretty cool. Kind of this is kind of like more of a ritualistic, pagan-esque, probably not pagan maybe, I don't really know. Definitely ritualistic kind of black metal where it's very chanty, very eerie and kind of sorcery-esque kind of themes around it. It's very much in a kind of folky pagan kind of vibe as well, in my head anyway. I mean, I could be talking bollocks and you might think, what are you going on about? But that's what I hear. It's very much in that kind of folky kind of style band, you know, very much, it's aggressive in parts, but it's also atmospheric. It's got some like kind of eerie sections to it as well. And yeah, I actually quite like this. It's quite a long album as well. I don't know how long it actually is, but it doesn't fly around very quickly. It's not to say I'm not enjoying it, but there's a lot of music going on. So yeah, I was quite surprised by this one, because again, I had no idea what it was going to be like. So if you haven't checked it out, leave a link below and you can see. But this is the one that he wanted me to check out the most, and this is the Lifted Veil. This is literally a new album for this month, this video coming out. For 2024, this is a Finnish band, and this is a death metal band, but there's more to it than that. They kind of cross over into different styles. So this is the Lifted Veil with Genocidal Bliss of Heaven, and this is, like I said, Grind to Death Records for 2024. You can't see that cover for shit, so I'll put a picture of it here if I remember. And this is, yeah, some really blasty, very aggressive, ultra heavy Finnish style death metal, but it crossovers into other subgenres as well. So it's not your traditional Finnish death metal where it's kind of very raw, very guttural. It's a bit more flavour to it than that, and it's a bit more of a, say, a modern take on death metal. I would say it's not in an old school vibe at all. Very much a more modern take. But the cover's really cool. I'm not quite sure what it's about, or what that fella is up here doing. But the back cover I quite like. So yeah, go check it out if you haven't. This is a completely new album to me, new band to me even, and this is a new album from them. So this is a debut as well for 2024. So yeah, go check it out. So yeah, nice 24-minute video, sorry about that. So I do appreciate if you do watch to the end, check out any of these bands. I will leave links to everything I'm talking about below. Please like this video to let YouTube know I'm alright, and if you are new, maybe consider subscribing and checking out the other content around my head. Until then, please take care, and I'll speak to you guys in the comment section. Cheers.